Illinois finished their Spain trip. They concluded a successful, very successful trip to Spain with a third win in as many games. And the thing that stuck out to me about this trip is that as the games went by, it seemed like it was a different guy making the headlines every game. Ty Rodgers had a great first half in this game. He was 5 for 5 from the floor. I think he only had one turnover. He actually had some assists this game, looking more like a point guard. I can't believe I just said that. I strung those words together in a sentence. Ty Rodgers looked like a point guard. What's that?
Repeat that.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat it. Your mic's still doing the thing where I can't hear you when we both talk. It's weird. Weird things are happening. Anyways, weird things are happening. Ty Rodgers, point guard. Weird things are happening. Amani Hansberry was also really good. Again, he's had a couple productive games in a row. He's looking like a very clear rotation guy at the very least. There were some concerns on that, but kind of reminds me a little bit. I mean, there was an overseas trip last year, but kind of reminds me of like Terrace Reed-ish breakout right now of like, maybe he's not going to be a rotation guy at all. And then it's like, no, he's a backup center. You got one. You don't know what you're going to get, but he's ready to be a backup center. That's how I feel about Hansberry right now. So all in all, what do you have takeaways for Illinois at the end of this Spain trip? 3-0. What are your takeaways?
I think I have a good idea of what Illinois is going to be and how they're going to win games as a basketball team. And I think it's going to be, like I said a couple episodes ago, I think it's going to be playing defense and getting out in transition and playing fast. I think that's how they're going to win basketball games. And their ceiling, though, is going to be decided on how efficiently they're going to be able to hit shots. I think so. I think I come out of this trip less worried about the point guard position. I think it's safe to say that. So, all in all, as an Illinois fan, I feel like I would feel a lot more positively about my team coming out of this trip, which, I mean, what else can you ask for on a foreign trip? Like, I feel like going into these trips, so many things could go wrong. They could be in absolute turmoil and hell, wondering what's going to happen with the season. And I don't think they're in that position. So all in all, I think good for the Illini. And I think not necessarily answered questions at the point guard position, but I see a vision. I see a world where it's not as big of an issue as some may have been leading to be on.
I'm really excited to see this team in a setting where they're not just playing everybody 15 minutes. And obviously, Brad came into this trip knowing he was going to do that. I'm not saying that's wrong. Like, you should do that. You should play everybody on the overseas trip. But it's really hard. It's really hard to look at this roster and, like, identify who the 5 are or who the 8 are or, like, whatever. Pick your number. It's impossible to tell who's going to play on this team. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it's good. I think, like, obviously having 12 guys who can play is good. That's not bad. That's good. But it can be bad if you have 12 guys who all think they're in your top 5. And Illinois has gotten bit by that before in the Brad Underwood era. I'm not saying this is like I don't know how you keep everybody happy team, because I think the vibes in general are good with this team. I think this team likes each other. Ty Rodgers will let you know that they like each other. But there's 12 guys who think they need big minutes. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I think there's 12 guys who kind of warrant big minutes, like, because all 12 showed something on this trip, which is great, but it's a little scary because I think if you were building a team in a lab, you would want like some separation between your star player and then your top 6 and then the bench guys. I don't see really any separate, like, the 12th guy on this team, one game is Justin Harmon, then the next game it's Moretti, then the next game it's Guerrier, then it's Goody. Like, you can go down the list and just slide everybody who's not Terrence Shannon or Coleman Hawkins anywhere from 3rd best player on this team to 12th, depending on the night. So I kind of am scared by that, even though it's a good thing. It makes me nervous. Do you get what I'm saying? And is it good or bad? I don't know what to make of it.
I get that, but then, like, go back to your point, looking at this team in a real setting, I think I don't know what the phrase would be to use, like the cream will rise to the top. Like, I think it'll kind of figure itself out and you'll find the guys who are more consistent than others. Because it's any player I think can be consistent or look good in a 3-game stretch against certain levels of competition. But for the guys who can be consistent and sustain it and shit damn near in the college setting, even get better throughout the season, like leading into Big Ten play and postseason play, I think the cream will kind of rise to the top. But I mean, you had Illinois at what, seventh in the conference, eighth in the conference coming in? Like, does that change for you?
Yeah, I think after their first game, I moved them up to third. Um, I like it just like it's gonna be day to day for me. One day it's like they're a contender, and then one day it's like they're in the NIT. I don't know. I think this team's gonna make the tournament. Like even if there's a moment I'm really down on them, like this team should be a tournament team. But I like I think I like what I saw from Maryland more. I will say that, like, because now we have seen enough of these other overseas trips. I think I like Maryland has a top five, and those five are nasty.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that. Illinois has a bunch of dudes who can play a little bit here and there, do different things. They can't shoot. This team
I,
cannot shoot.
I'd say though that Illinois has four stamped right now.
Who are the four?
TSJ, Coleman, Goody, Ty Rogers.
See, I like those guys are going to play, yeah, but like I don't know that I'd say Goody and Rogers are like separation at all from the next guys on the list, man. Like Rogers was really good this game. He was really bad the others. Goody was 2 for 9, 0 for 5 from 3 this game. I don't think Goody has shot the ball the way we hope and think he can shoot the ball on this trip. Like
I need Goody on U.S. soil immediately.
yeah, we might need to talk to that man.
I need Goody soil immediately. Last thing for me on it. I'm staking my claim now. Terrence Shannon Jr., first team All-American. I just I want that on record saying that. Am I also crazy? You don't have to go off on a true segment about it or anything like that, but just simple yes or no answer. Could Moretti actually contribute to this team? I swear to God, every time
you're right.
He was actually some things.
I think he can, which is part of what, like, the fact that we're having that conversation, I don't think is a good thing, even though it means it's good for Moretti. Moretti is showing some things. It's not good that the guy who was supposed to be the 13th guy, we're like, oh, is he the 4th best player on this team? Like, we don't know, man. Like, that should be horrifying to Illinois fans at this point, even though you're excited about it. It's fun and exciting. It's also really scary. Give me just quickly, let's do like speed round. Give me the guy that impressed you the most relative to what you thought you'd get from this trip. I have a name. Do you have a name that like exceeded your expectations?
Ooh. I might say Moretti, to be honest.
Mine's Justin Harmon.
I like that pick.
I don't think people are really like giving Harmon too much love. He's not like the centerpiece of the Illinois social strategy the way some other guys are, but he's been consistent and productive in these games. And from the film I saw, like he looks like he belongs in the guard spot. That really matters to me.
I like that pick.
Yeah. Next one. So Damas didn't play. We knew that. He was hurt, right? End of the season. Damask is the blank best player on Illinois. Because I asked this question. I think that this answer tells you a lot about how you feel about Illinois. If the guy we didn't see play is the what best player on this team?
Damask is the third.
See, that's why you should be terrified. Because that answer means you didn't love what you saw from anybody. And that's like Damask he might be the third best player. He might just be really good.
And I hold Damask in a high standard.
You can, but I think that there's an underlying element of if Damask is the third best guy and we haven't seen him play, then that means, well, Ty didn't show us what we wanted to see. DGL didn't show us what we wanted to see. So for the record, I think my answer with Damask would be 5th. No, 6th. I'm going to go 6th. I would have him behind the big two. I would have him behind DGL. I would have him behind Sincere Harris. And I would have him behind Dane Danger.
I go back. Sincere is my most impressive player from the trip, too, over Moretti. I want to say that. I love Sincere Harris. Sincere Harris is a top 5 favorite player in the Big Ten for me.
Wow. That's high praise. We like Sincere.
Not best, my favorite.
I do like this Illinois team. I'm saying that genuinely. Like, there's a lot of players I actually like. I like talking about and like watching. I didn't expect that coming into this trip. Now I'm like, fun guys.
They like each other.
I don't know if you've heard, Cart. They are big fans of each other. One guy they're not big fans of, Cart, was on Twitter a little bit. Can we talk about that briefly?
One of the original sleepers' favorite players, Sky Clark with 2.
We still hold stock in Sky Clark. I'll say that out loud. I'm never gonna not be a Sky Clark guy.
Easily. I expect him to play extremely well at Louisville this year. I do.
He's kind of bitter Xing though, a little bit.
He's petty.
We love petty.
Which is why we love him.
But Ty Rodgers is also petty. So do we love Ty too?
But Ty's too nice.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. That's true. You can't be afraid of the mud. And I feel like Sky will get in the mud. Ty wants to kind of lean into the mud and then get out of the mud quickly.
And like herself.
Yeah. So now we got to say it though. Sky was basically, he accused and said, the guys that y'all accused me of are still in that locker room. That's essentially what the tweet said. What do we think he's talking about and who?
I mean, by simple context clues, it's because he said it was one of the freshmen last year, correct?
I don't think he spelled it out and said freshman, but somebody was like bringing up the fact that there was a rumored fight in the locker room that Sky was a part of. And there was it was rumored it was Matthew Meyer and Sky. Mm-hmm. And we don't know, by the way. We've tried to get this confirmed. We don't know. We have not heard. That's the genuine answer. Sky claims it didn't happen. That's what happened in this tweet. But then he went on to say in a pretty hard tweet to read, that's part of this. Like I couldn't really understand what he was saying, that there are guys still in the locker room that Illinois fans should be concerned about.
I mean, using basic context clues, one of them that he's talking about, not saying it is who it is, but he's talking about Coleman, 100%.
I think he's talking about Coleman.
Talking about Coleman, yeah, which is correct because Coleman did take some parting shots at Sky, I believe, correct? I
think so.
So it's
listen, man, they don't duck smoke. I'll give Illinois credit for that. Nobody in this locker room ducks smoke. I don't know, man, because I love Coleman and I love Sky. I don't want the two guys I love to be beefing.
Yeah, maybe we should get them on an episode and we can bring them all together.
Yeah, it's like Maury. We like ambush one of them with the other one.
You invite Coleman on, and I'll invite Sky on. And
like, couples therapy.
What's he doing here? We're all here because we love you guys. We love you.
An Illinois intervention would be lovely. We could get Channel 3 to sit down with us and do it all. It'd be fantastic. All right. Well, thanks to Illinois and thanks to ex-Illinois players for always being entertaining. Overall, great job on the Spain trip. Daddy Brad, if this makes its way back to you somehow, you passed the test with flying colors, my friend. You're going to have your hands full this year, and you're off to a great start navigating it all. You got 12 different guys looking good enough to be talked about on the Sleepers podcast. That should be the most important thing on your to-do list, Brad.